Well, we're What's up guys, it's your boy Bambino here. Now, most of you probably already noticed something's wrong. Some of you might felt it in your wallet and some of you just didn't realize it yet. And if you're thinking, is the GPU problem again? Then no. Well, yeah, GPUs are still a mess, but that was already an ongoing problem for us. What I'm talking about is the new problem. The one that burst out the wall like the Kool-Aid man did. I'm talking about RAM, ladies and gentlemen, or specifically RAM prices. Some of you already noticed that they're getting stupid ridiculous. Others are saying that this could be the next big thing that will blow up, kind of like what happened to the GPU back in 2016 during the crypto boom. And honestly, look at these fucking prices, man. Like what the f? Like god damn, this shit is too hot. Too hot and way too stupid to buy. But before we go deeper into why this is happening and how it's absolutely screwing PC builders' bank account, we need to slow down for a second and cover some basics of the real main reason of this problem: DRAM. Now, the main reason behind the RAM price surge isn't the physical RAM sticks themselves, but what's inside those sticks, something called DRAM or memory chips. DRAM is the actual chip that acts as your system's main working memory. To put it simply, if a RAM module is the Infinity Gauntlet, then the DRAM chips are the Infinity Stones that has the real source of power. So what DRAM does is that DRAM chips is what makes your PC feels fast, especially when you're multitasking. It temporarily stores game data, app data, background processes, and the ton of Chrome tabs that you refuse to close. Because your data lives in DRAM, your CPU can access it insanely fast, instead of pulling data from SSD or HDD, which is very slow. You can think of DRAM as an extra set of hands holding on to your data so your CPU doesn't have to keep running back and forth across the hallway to get what it needs. And that's why people on the internet, especially with the PC nerds, are saying the more RAM and the better quality RAM you have, a smoother and more responsive PC you'll get. If RAM didn't exist, right? Your CPU would have committed suicide the moment you opened Chrome with 37 tabs. Immediate seppuku, no hesitation. And you probably heard of DDR4, DDR5, LPDDR, and HBM. They're all the same part of the DRAM family, but it's just the different generations, formats, and the use cases. So why the hell did RAM prices suddenly skyrocket like GPU did in the past and now? First, you need to understand what you're actually paying for when you're buying a RAM. When you go buy a stick of RAM, 60 to 80% of that price is the DRAM chips themselves, and the remaining 20 to 40% goes to the PCB, tiny components, testing, shipping, marketing, and branding. So when DRAM prices go up, the RAM prices have no choice but to follow.
And we are gonna have fun.
Only 3 companies manufacture most of the DRAM: Samsung, SK Hynix, and Micron. And DRAM chips aren't simple chips that you can just make in some Chinese factory with underpaid workers. DRAM chips are made inside these advanced semiconductor fabs, which is basically the most complex factory humans have ever built. These fabs cost tens of billions of buckaroos, takes 10 years to build, and requires extreme precision where even a single small defect can kill a chip.
Now who can tell me what he did wrong?
Because of that, there aren't many fabs that are available capable of producing modern DRAMs at scale. And if production slows down even a bit, prices go holy shit mode into the sky. And the biggest reason on why we're in this RAM crisis is all thanks to AI. Modern AI, especially data center AI, needs a stupid dumb amount of memory like standard DRAM and, more importantly, HBM. You got companies like Google, Meta, and Microsoft expanding data centers at insane speeds, buying memory faster than consumer markets ever could. A single high-performance AI server uses way more memory than a gaming PC, and they buy them in bulk. And unlike us peasants, they don't give a shit about the price. From this, memory manufacturers realized something important, that they could actually make way more money by selling memory chips to AI companies than to us consumers. So what did? They cut the production of commodity DRAM, the ones used in our PCs, and increased the fab capacity towards HBM and advanced AI memory chips. This means that there's less DRAM for consumer RAM, tighter supply, higher prices for DDR4, and especially DDR5 sticks, which sucks. Total madness and absolute depression here, folks. AI is pretty hilarious, don't you think? Because it can help us in different ways, but at the same time us hard in the back in different ways. Like, what the okay. Before this whole AI circus showed up and flipped the table, you need to understand one thing, that DRAM was never about crazy profit margins. It was a volume business. DRAM was a straight up commodity product, and the strategy was very simple. Sell it cheap and sell a ton of it. And it worked. DRAM chips were being pumped into everything, like the PCs, laptops, Samsung phones or Apple phones, whatever smartphones you have, Xbox consoles, PlayStation, any game consoles, and the servers. Millions upon millions of chips, non-stop. And that's why RAM used to feel so reasonable, especially with the one that has no unicorn vomit shit. Those were actually affordable. Consumer RAM was usually the least profitable product, but here's the key part. It kept the fabs running at full capacity. Factories don't make money sitting idle. Selling low margin consumer DRAM kept the machines busy, the workers getting paid, and the supply chain moving. Then COVID happened, and everything broke. During the pandemic, laptop demand went nuclear, remote work exploded, servers scaled fast. DRAM manufacturers went full factory overdrive. They made chips like their life depended on it. But at this point, COVID just cooled off. And suddenly, they had an oversupply of chips, price collapsed, and margins went negative. And this was a moment where all those manufacturers went full villain arc mode.
Oh, shiver my timbers! Shut up, man!
DRAM companies looked at the numbers and said, yeah, nah, this. They cut the production, controlled the supply, and stopped flooding the market. And then they noticed something beautiful. The AI companies showed up with infinite money glitch bank accounts. They didn't care about the price, they needed massive amounts of memory, and they wanted HBM and high-end DRAM. So DRAM manufacturers did what corporations do best. They smelled and followed the cheese. Consumer DRAM, low margin, price sensitive, and annoying. But AI memory, high margin, unlimited demand, and zero sympathy required. Easy choice. RAM prices didn't just mess with the consumers. They went full pandemic mode and started infecting the entire PC industry. This caused a chain reaction that smacked motherboard makers, OEMs, and the entire PC building industry right in their faces.
Oh, are you alright? How did Barry!
Ever since, RAM prices started to absolutely raw dogging us. Fewer people have been building PCs, not because the desire is gone, but because they had no money. And when fewer people build PCs, manufacturers feels it immediately. And that makes sense, because who the hell is going to build a new PC and buy new parts when RAM alone costs as much as a used GPU? And talking about RAM sticks, let's talk about the DDR5 RAM, because this is where things got insane. DDR5 contract prices didn't just rise, they fucking exploded, alright? Within a few months in late 2025, price surged dramatically. DRAM manufacturers, this was a gold mine. And for consumers, this was a literal gold price. Like, holy GPU prices were already shoving dildos up in our ass, and RAM just decided to jump in the fun with threesome and fuck us both front and back. There were reports floating around that Samsung wasn't even selling RAM to Samsung, to themselves. At first, I thought this was some kind of a fake news meme bullshit, right? But no, this was real. So basically, Samsung's DRAM division reportedly prioritized selling memory to AI and data centers customers, because that's where a lot of money, cha-ching, and cheese are. And that's not evil, and that's just ice cold capitalism. Do I find this funny? Yes. But depressing? Absolutely. Now, at this point of this video, most of you would realize the severity of this problem, and honestly, it's not looking good for 2026 either. They're saying that RAM prices won't be going down anytime sooner this year, and the next year and the year after that. Even DRAM companies are telling us that the price won't be shining rainbows in 2026, and we don't even have a clue when this is going to be over. Not only are RAM prices are getting ridiculous, but the original one, the GPU, will be also cutting its production by 40% next year, and the term budget PC is just non-existent at this point. Gamers and PC builders can kiss their ass goodbye, and looking back, it was a pretty good run until now. We had our fun moments with PC building and gaming as well, but now it's time to bury those moments in 2025 and hide ourselves in the bunker until this apocalypse ends. Maybe one day, those companies will realize the outcome and change the price and help us consumers to be engaged in PC building again, but I highly doubt that because I don't think it will ever happen because it's business, and whatever matters is the buckaroos they're getting. But that, my friend, doesn't stop us from having a little faith on this matter. So see you on the next journey, builder. Until then, the PC community will always be with you. See ya.
Bye, have a great time.